too.
Have you?
Yeah, I love it here. Like, we're having the best time.
Should we sit?
I think we should
right.
sit.
Where do y'all want to sit? No, okay, y'all found a spot already. Well, welcome to San Antonio. Glad to have y'all here.
Thank you.
You hit the Riverwalk already?
I haven't yet, but the first time I came, I did, and got to be a tourist and really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Did you see the Alamo?
No,
No.
I didn't see the Alamo.
Yeah.
Only on Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
Or an episode of Timeless.
Oh, that's true. Did you go to the Alamo to film?
No, we filmed in a parking lot in Vancouver.
Wait, that was the scene with the Alamo?
Yeah, I did a show called Timeless. It was a time travel thing. Check it out.
It's really good.
Thanks. Yeah, we did a Alamo episode, and we actually like recreated half of the Alamo.
Yeah, like the facade of it? Yeah.
It was kind of like full scale, like half of. I mean, it was a big deal, and we were all kind of wondering how they were going to do it in the Vancouver parking lot.
Wow.
But it looked awesome, and the episode looks great too. So.
By the way, you brought up the Pee Wee Herman movie. Yeah. Although everybody laughs, scoffs, oh, there's no basement in the Alamo and all this stuff. There actually is.
Really?
Yeah. Little known fact, after the movie was filmed and everything, and that became a thing, like, there's no basement in the Alamo, all that stuff. The city essentially brought the actor to play Pee Wee Herman, and they took him into the basement to dispel the rumor that there is not one, and actually there is one.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Secrets.
Well, again, welcome to San Antonio.
Thank you.
Obviously, the fans are excited for the characters you portray. Ahsoka, Tano, Anakin, Skywalker. We'll start off with you, Ashley. Did you ever foresee this character exploding to this level?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
So we recorded Clone Wars for 2 years before you ever saw it. So we started recording Clone Wars in February of 2006. And so I had 2 years to completely fall in love with Ahsoka Tano before anyone knew about her. And we were well into season 2 by the time the movie came out in 2008. And my hope was that people would fall in love like Ahsoka, or fall in love with Ahsoka like I do, and that they would grow to love her like I do. And so yes, that was my hope. However, the love has far exceeded anything I could have ever imagined. I mean, I don't think we ever thought we would be here 16 years later,
Right,
with a final season of Clone Wars coming out in 2020, and all these new stories that are still being told.
Yeah. And do you ever sit back and look and reflect and say, oh my God, like, I'm a part of the Star Wars universe?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, we're Star Wars fans. So for me, I grew up a Star Wars fan. And now when people come up to me and say, Ahsoka's my favorite character, or she's, top 5 and, ranks up there with like Han Solo and Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker, like, my mind is completely blown. I mean, selfishly, I get it because I love her. She's my favorite character. But yeah, it's completely surreal.
I mean, you go all over the world. We've been all over the world, and she's been to the far reaches of the world. And Star Wars is so huge, and transcends cultures and generations. And so yeah, it's hard not to just kind of be blown away and still humbled by it. I mean, really, every day that we're out here doing this stuff, and humbled by the amount of fandom and the amount of just joy that it brings people, and the stories that we hear that are really, really just touching stories and just human stories, and it's pretty cool what Star Wars does.
Yeah.
You say far reaches of the world like I've been to Hoth. Which I'd love to go to Hoth.
Yeah.
She's been way up to Canada.
Yeah, Calgary. Calgary is really cool. They open up the con with a parade, and I'm from Florida. And if you're from Texas, we're all used to the heat, and they didn't, tell me that the parade that was outside, and it was 30 degrees, there was snow flurries, and I'm just in a basic sweatshirt.
And
so
there are
it
shorts and
was
t-shirts
hot.
like
Yes.
nothing like.
It's called spring
Yeah.
for them.
One couple quick questions for you, Ashley. Here, what did you like about playing Tano? What did you enjoy about it?
Well, somebody asked me this earlier. If they created Ahsoka after me, and So yes and no. Ahsoka was drawn, so they already knew what she would look like before I was cast. But they didn't know what they wanted her voice to be. So Dave Filoni originally wanted Ahsoka to have an Icelandic accent. I could not do it, so don't ask me to do it today. My Icelandic accent is terrible. But he watched me behind the scenes and just heard me talk in between takes, and he's like, that. I want that. And so when I was cast, I was really confused because I was like, I butchered my Icelandic accent. Like, it was so bad. And, but he goes, no, don't do that. Just talk like yourself. Just be you, bring your own personality, your own humor. And so in many ways, Ahsoka is me. She's kind of my own heart and soul. And what they did do for both of us is they recorded our faces. So whenever we would film an episode, we would have a camera right in front of our face, and that they would send it to the animators, and the animators would take some of our expressions and put them on the characters. So I have been watching an episode, and I see one of Ahsoka's expressions, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's really weird, because I'm like, I know I make that face.
There's hours and hours and hours of footage of us recording in the booth somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe one day they'll be out there for all fans to enjoy.
I don't know. I mean,
Just to see the process. That's what fans love.
That's true. That's true. I was just sitting there like, who would want to sit there for?
Yeah.
But it actually kind of maybe would be cool.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
really cool.
See the VO and then
Yeah.
see the finished product.
Yeah, awesome. Matt, Anakin Skywalker. Yeah. I mean, talk about a voice role that means a lot to the fans. For older fans like myself, seeing Anakin, back in the '80s, when they revealed the mask, finally Return of the Jedi. And then to see Hayden take it over, then to see you be a part of it too.
Yeah.
Talk about that journey that you are on right now.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I didn't know I was being cast for Anakin when I was cast. I actually was a recast. They had an Anakin prior to me that you guys never heard. Then they wanted to switch it up, and they decided to, as they call it, go a different direction. But when I got cast, it was just an audition. I remember going to the studio, and Dave was there, and they just asked me to read some copy that was. He pretty much just said, do what everything Han Solo and Luke Skywalker together sort of sounds like to you. And that's what I did, and that was sort of the attitude that I read with. And then I left, and then they called me, a couple days later or something, and said, "You've got the part. By the way, this is for Anakin Skywalker, and you're one of the leads on the series." And so, it was a surprise to me.
And away we go, right? Yeah,
and away we go.
Yeah.
But in that, I had a lot of freedom, creative freedom, just to kind of like be my own Anakin and put my own spin on Anakin. I didn't try to emulate Hayden's voice in any way. I did watch the films and kind of study the cadence. There's a Star Wars cadence. And definitely Hayden does that, and it's kind of a sing-songy cadence at moments. And so I definitely watched that and incorporated that. But as far as like just how I sounded and my voice, I mean, it's pretty much my voice. I'm a little deeper in the later seasons, but yeah, I kind of had the creative freedom, and I think that was a little bit. There was less pressure on me because I wasn't trying to be this. They hired me for what I guess I brought to the table originally without knowing it was Anakin. So
the good guy Anakin that we've just fallen in love with in Clone Wars really is who Matt is. I mean, he is just truly such a good guy.
I am a Jedi. Really am.
I'm no Jedi.
Oh yes.
There's your video performance.
What's that?
I like that. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt.
Well, Matt, you had more times you talked about to develop Anakin. Unlike Hayden, who was more of a time frame. You got years, season after season to do that. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I think it's wonderful for the character, and it seems like Anakin, the character of Anakin, seems to have had a resurgence in popularity since the Clone Wars. I would love to believe that I have a part in that, but the Clone Wars, just the time that we gave that character to expand and we get to know him more, we see some of his pitfalls, we see his heroic moments, we care about him, And now it makes the story so much more rich, makes the saga rich. When you see Vader, you know the guy that's in the suit.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just a big baddie in a suit wearing black. But also, somebody came to my table and said something real. I had never thought of it this way, but it's a really difficult job for Hayden to have done in the films. He's got a relatively short amount of screen time to go from, kind of teenager to most iconic villain of all time.
Yeah.
And he's always in chaos mode. But in the Clone Wars, we got to live with him as a hero. We heard he was a hero. We just didn't get to see it. So we get to live with him for a little bit. And it's nice to see his relationships, and you care about him. And so it makes the whole thing, then you see the fight in Rebels, and it's like so powerful because you know who they once were together.
Mm-hmm.
So for all those reasons, it's been such an honor to take the reins on Anakin for this season of his life, and hopefully it's helped the story. And now that we watch Anakin and Vader, we see it through a different lens.
Yeah. Hayden ever talked to you about your portrayal of Anakin or your voice acting?
Yeah, we've talked a few times. He's very complimentary of the Clone Wars, and I didn't speak to him about this particular part, but I read the article like everyone else did that he watched a lot of the Clone Wars before they went and did the Ahsoka show.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Cool.
which is really great.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of Clone Wars influence in the new Ahsoka show, and Clone Wars influence in all the stuff they're doing now. Really,
it really is. It really
so
is.
it's kind of like if you haven't seen Clone Wars, you're really sort of missing out on a lot of what's happening now.
You're out of the loop.
Ashley, what you started, branched off into Rosario Dawson, portraying her, and then I think Ariana Greenblatt taking the young one. When you look at them, and to see like, wow, they're part of the Ahsoka family now. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I've always been very outspoken from the beginning that I'm just one member of a giant team of people that I call Team Tano, that it takes to bring this character to life. And it's even more than me and Rosario and Ariana. It's the writers, directors, animators. It takes one day, maybe 2 or 3 if we come in and do pickups, to record an episode. And it's really intense when we record an episode. It's oftentimes a lot of work when we're in the studio. But to do an entire episode from start to finish, it's 6 to 9 months. And a lot of people are working so hard to bring this character, all of our characters, to life. I was thrilled to welcome them to Team Tano.
Yeah.
I've met Rosario many times. She's just so lovely. I haven't met Ariana yet.
Yeah.
So hopefully one day I will. But yeah, it's one big family, including everyone here, which is why I say Ahsoka lives in all of us.
Yeah. I talked to a couple fans here today asking about their thoughts on Anakin, and one common thread word I heard was protector. They felt you were a protector a lot. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think
I love that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think he was all those things, and especially to Ahsoka. Tales of the Jedi is one of my favorites, and that sequence where he's teaching her and that tough love. I love the format of Tales of the Jedi. That little moment that probably didn't mean much in the moment went on to mean so much to Ahsoka. And I love that he's a protector so hard that it's his downfall. He wanted to protect his mother and protect Padme and protect Ahsoka, and really just protect right from wrong in his head until it just fell off the cliff. But wow, that's a cool strong word to describe him until it just train wreck.
And you got a part in Mandalorian, is that correct?
Yeah, that was a small, fun little Easter egg, and Dave was like, "Well, it's just a little small. Would you want to do that?" And it was a big yes.
You're a big yes. Yes.
So,
did it feel weird to come out of the Anakin character into I think the name was Devan or Devan?
Yeah,
was the name
so
of your character.
Davin. So, funny story with Davin is I say my name in the episode, Davin, and then at the end credits, it just says Matt Lanter, New Republic soldier. And I feel so bad for the guy. I'm like, I said my name. Give him a name.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I saw that I guess the official name was Lant Davin,
Davin,
which
yeah.
is really cool.
That could be a cool running Easter egg joke. Like every time you're on, there's just Matt Lanter, and then the name of the character in general.
Yeah.
Like just keep that going.
Yeah, New Republic
Yeah,
soldier. I'm like, the guy died so quick.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. Actually, being able to be part of Rise of Skywalker, and the voice that you were able to lend. Talk about that experience.
Yes, so that was a surreal experience. We were actually heading to Star Wars Celebration in 2019 in Chicago, and I get this like urgent email saying from Matthew Wood, "Hey, I might need you to record a couple of lines," and it was super top secret, but I could tell that whatever he said, I knew it was potentially for the film,
Sure.
for episode 9. And I'm like, I'm at Star Wars Celebration, and he's like, oh, don't worry, we'll just find like a closet or somewhere to go record it. Because that happens quite often. If James Arnold Taylor were here, he would tell you, he can literally turn any closet or hotel room into a recording studio. So I'm like, okay, this is not what I pictured, recording episode 9 in a broom closet somewhere at a convention center, but that didn't happen. We ended up going to the recording studio a week or so later, and I recorded a couple lines, but then they said, we're not sure if you're gonna make it in.
Oh,
it's 50-50 whether you're gonna be in, and they said, you'll know in October.
When it comes out?
No,
Oh.
so the film came out in December.
Oh, okay.
I actually didn't record my lines until October. So I'm sitting on the edge of my chair, and because they said if I made it in the film, I'd have to re-record them.
Because the closet wasn't good.
Well,
No shade to the Hilton Garden Inn, but...
No, I mean, I think some of the lines changed too. So I'm like waiting on pins and needles. So this is like May, and October 1st rolls around, October 2nd, I hear nothing. So I'm like, well, I guess they changed their mind. Finally, after like the first 2 weeks of October, I get a call, and they said, okay, you have a session tomorrow. You're going into Bad Robot. And on the booking sheet, it just said, Matthew Wood and J.J. Abrams. And I'm like, ooh. Oh my gosh! So I walk in, and we know Matthew Wood, but J.J. Abrams was so kind. Walked straight up, shook my hand, and he said, "Hi, I'm J.J. Thank you for being in the film." And I'm like, "What? Thank you for having me." Okay. Because it was so top secret, I didn't get the lines until like they handed them to me. So it was legitimately a cold read.
Wow.
Like, I didn't get a chance to practice, and JJ's literally where you're sitting. JJ Abrams is sitting right there, just looking at me.
Yeah.
Talk about nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
And I recorded all of the lines, so I had no idea which one they were going to pick, and eventually it did make it in the film. And
What were your other lines? Give us a spoiler.
Well, no, it was what everyone said. So even like Anakin and which.
Well, they didn't ask me.
Should have been you. It would have been cool to have your voice in there too. But anyway, so it was all the lines that you heard.
I was busy dying on The Mandalorian.
There you go. Yes.
How cool! How awesome for you, but also awesome for Ahsoka and what that means to include Ahsoka in the live action.
So
at that time.
Yes, it was cool for me personally, but I was more excited for Ahsoka because of what that meant for Ahsoka. That cemented her in the Skywalker saga.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I was really proud of Ahsoka. It sounds weird, but I was proud of her.
Yeah.
And even though Clone Wars is such an integral part of the story now, I feel like the fact that she was included in the film was a really big deal.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna start lining up everybody. So in a few seconds, we'll get the Q&A with you and the cast up here with Ashley and Matt. Matt, before we turn over the mic.
Chill tonight.
Chill.
I know, we're normally like really goofy, and I feel like we're really chill up here.
I could do a stand-up routine.
Oh.
I could tap dance.
Send it.
Matt, before we turn the mic over to the fans here, what was it like, then shift, you do Anakin, you do all that stuff, great work, but then you Ted Cord, Blue Beetle,
Yeah, the
you know,
Blue
all
Beetle
that
stuff.
stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, you got to play what a car? I think it was the Batmobile. Was that? Did I read that right?
The what?
In Batboy with.
I think you're meshing my career with being a bat boy for the Atlanta Braves.
That's it. That's it. How was that? Like, how do you go from bad boy with the Braves to then voice acting with Ted Cord and Anakin Skywalker? How
Well,
was that thing?
the Bat Boy. That was when I was much younger.
Yeah.
Before I even moved to LA and decided I want to do this crazy thing that we do. But yeah, I worked for the Atlanta Braves for a couple of years. I was a clubhouse guy, and so yeah, I grew up playing baseball, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Favorite teams, the Braves, I guess, or?
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
But
But also,
there we go. See.
But also one of my favorite players, David Eckstein.
I wonder why.
He's just a favorite
I wonder
player of
why.
mine.
Yeah, I wonder why, Ashley.
You know, I wish we were better friends back in 2006 because of the World Series. Like,
Absolutely, yeah.
you could have come.
I've never been to a World Series game.
Ah.
I'm waiting on you guys to get me a ticket or something.
Well, David has to
Yeah.
unretire and.
Yes,
yeah, get back. All right, let's go start the fan Q&A. Sir, go ahead.
Hello, not a question, but I just want to say, Matt, it meant everything to me when you signed my forehead yesterday. I just want to say, Matt,
Did it wash off?
It did, unfortunately.
Oh,
I had to
well,
take a
I can
shower.
sign it again if you really want me to.
Yes.
That poor guy came to my table and was like, sign my forehead. I'm like, no, I'm not ruining your face like that.
I mean, I'm down.
But I did.
I don't have a Sharpie. Do you? I'm down.
Not in my pocket. No.
I have one.
Yep. Can it happen again?
man.
I'm down. He has
All right,
one.
it's up to you, Matt. If you're down.
Dude,
He can make my
I,
ear
I would like this to happen. so
Yes,
can-
I would like this to happen so I can get myself in. Yes, somebody get this man a Sharpie.
I got you.
Get him a Sharpie right now. Oh, we have one up here. We have one up
all
here.
right, here.
Oh, here it goes. Here.
Okay.
Oh, they got one.
Matt is about to
Yeah.
say, what's your name?
My name is Josiah, or my nickname is Buttons.
Okay, Buttons. I like that.
Should I write my name or
Yeah, do your name.
like something?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
about to sign Buttons.
Like, should I write something really
Forehead.
inappropriate?
Or draw something.
I'm kidding.
He fell asleep with his shoes on.
Let's see.
Come on, Matt.
Draw a really long curved
Do you
lightsaber.
need me to hold
Draw
your
one? No, don't collapse.
curved lightsaber across his
No,
face.
we're all family. We're all family. Here, this is going to be a really bad, like, imperial cog.
What are you
An
drawing?
imperial cog, but it looks like a Pikachu.
Okay, I see it. What is going on?
I'm so sorry.
Oh, man.
I'm so
He's
sorry.
going.
You look like Post Malone now. Yeah, you're welcome, I guess.
Anybody else want to get their face written on?
Thank you. I'm so sorry.
I love it. I haven't seen it, but I love it.
All right.
In the
Any other
three-
body
well,
parts? We're
first of all-
taking body parts.
Oh,
Come
I
on.
don't know about that.
In the 3 years I've been doing this hosting for Big, I never saw that ever.
We do occasionally sign people's bodies, which is insane, but
We do. We've done a lot of tattoos.
yeah.
Wait, so this is not uncommon for y'all?
It's not, well, the
I've
forehead is
never
yeah.
signed a forehead.
But, people want sometimes our autographs and they get it tattooed.
Oh, I see what you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
Yeah, but not that.
All
What's
right.
that? You have one?
I have a couple. I have Matthew and Robert England.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, all right, good stuff. Yes, sir.
I'm not exactly sure how to top that, but
You can't. Sorry.
What's your name and what's your question?
my name is Braden. So you guys had many years to embody the characters that you guys portrayed. My question is, you guys were involved with the creative aspects of the actual storytelling of the show in some aspects. At what point for each of you do you feel like you truly were able to give really constructive criticism to the story, things that your characters might have been able to make decisions that maybe the writers were like, you read it and were like, that doesn't make any sense, why would my character do that? At what point do you think that you were able to go, wait, what if we just do this? And Dave Filoni might have been like, yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
I mean, I think we did that all the time, actually. I'm not discrediting the writing, because the writing's already there, but every time we recorded, Dave actually gave us the freedom and, said it. If you think Anakin would say it a little differently, or if you feel like words don't make sense or whatever, you say it how you think Anakin would do it. And so it was always a very, free record session in that way, and very collaborative. I never felt like handcuffed to anything really. But I didn't feel like I needed to necessarily because the writing is so wonderful. And Dave is, he knows Star Wars front and back, and he knows better story-wise than I ever would. But yeah, it was always very collaborative.
It was. So we never changed any of the stories, like in terms of the scripts. Like we would never come in and be like, the story wouldn't happen that way, let me rewrite it. But Matt's right. I mean, we had a lot of input into how we would say something. And Dave would always ask us, he'd be like, well, how would you say it? Just say it the way you would say it. So both of us, because it is our voices as the characters, we had a lot of input. But I will say, now that I think about it, I never changed the storyline, but, and let me preface by saying I'm a huge romantic. I love romantic comedies. I love a good love story. But I was just never into the Ahsoka getting a boyfriend storylines. And the Trace and Rafa storyline in season 7, originally, and we had recorded those episodes where it was 2 guys instead of 2 sisters. And one of the guys was Ahsoka's boyfriend. And I never felt it. And I was very vocal with Dave. I'm like, Ahsoka doesn't have time for a boyfriend? Why are you doing this?
That's a good question. Hello, sir. Your name and question.
Hi, my name is Andrew, and I actually saw you guys at Retro Expo not too long ago, actually.
Yes.
So yeah.
Hi, good to see you again.
Yeah. So I have 2 quick questions. So, number one, it took a very long time for the last season to come out, right? So I was wondering, like, all those stories that, in Clone Wars, was the idea to always tie in Revenge of the Sith? Because, like, we know why, Ahsoka is not with Anakin, because she's at the Siege of Mandalore, and Obi-Wan is, taking care of General Grievous. So was that always, like, planned to tie that all together?
I don't really know if that was the plan.
Well, so from what I remember, obviously Clone Wars was canceled after season 5, and that was not planned.
Yeah.
I think they were planning to take Clone Wars at least through season 8, before George sold Star Wars.
I remember Dave telling me that George was kind of saying, like, as long as people are enjoying the show, I want to keep making it.
Yeah, and actually that's a good point. It might have even gone beyond season 8, we don't know. But they were at least plotting it out through 8 seasons. So I remember in the beginning we were always told that it was going to take us up to episode 3. So I do think the plan was to tie it in. I think I'm grateful we got the final season, and I think they did an incredible job with Siege of Mandalore and wrapping it up. I think they wrapped it up a little faster than what it was originally going to be. But yeah, the intent was always to tie it into season 3. I mean, ask Dave Filoni, but that was my understanding.
Matt?
I love how she danced around that so eloquently.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, she said it.
All right.
Yeah.
You said it.
And the last quick question is, what is your favorite season of Clone Wars, if you had to choose?
I mean, as a whole, season 7 is awesome.
Mhm.
Like, I just feel like everything was firing on all cylinders. Like the animation, the storytelling, the way it came together, the way it went into Sith, the voice acting. I just felt like everything was just incredible. Yeah, like other than that, I don't know. I've got moments and arcs that I love, but just as a whole, probably season 7.
All right.
Thank you so
Ashley.
much.
thank you. I'll
Hello?
just say season 5.
Season 5?
Hi, my name's Destiny.
Hi.
And my question's for you, Ashley. You're part of, obviously, an iconic series, but you were part of an iconic series before that. So what was it like being on That's So Raven?
First of all, I love That's a Raven. And Alana says that she likes Star Wars. I loved being on That's a Raven. I grew up in Orlando, Florida. I'm very much a Disney kid. my dad worked for Walt Disney World, and I first decided that I wanted to be an actress when I went to a live taping of the Mickey Mouse Club. And so it became my dream as an actress to eventually be on the Disney Channel. I didn't want to win an Oscar, I didn't want to win an Emmy, I just wanted to be on the Disney Channel. And so it was truly bucket list level for me. And actually when That's a Raven wrapped, my very last episode, I remember I played the mean girl a lot, and I promise I'm not mean, Matt knows.
Yeah, true, Matt.
She's like the nicest person ever. It's like a caricature of a real human because she's so kind. How many episodes did you do?
I did 9 episodes, but it was over the course of like 4 years.
Got it, okay.
And so I actually made a wish on the set of the last episode that I would get to play a good guy, like a good character, a hero. And little did I know that Ahsoka was right around the corner. So make a wish, you never know what could happen.
Wish came true, right? Good question. Thank you. Hey, cool cosplay you guys there, buddy.
Yeah.
Look at that, man. What's your name and question?
Hi, I'm Travis.
Hi.
My wife's a huge Ahsoka fan, so she couldn't be here today, so she would be upset with me if I didn't pop up.
Oh, tell her thank you.
I guess my question is, you guys were a part of so many storylines and related with so many characters over the course of those. Were there any relationships, whether antagonistic or friendly with other characters, that you would have liked to have seen happen that never cropped up, that might have been interesting to you?
Well, I have to tell this story because the very first day I met Matt, pretty much the very first minute I met Matt, instead of just saying, hi, nice
Like
to
a
meet
normal
you.
person.
I was just like, hi, just so you know, there's nothing going on here. And what I meant was Anakin and Ahsoka, because Dave, I had already been recording for 6 months, and like Matt said, he came on later. And so Dave had warned me, he goes, hey, a lot of people are gonna try to ship Anakin and Ahsoka. They're gonna want there to be something between them, and that's not it at all. They're like brother, sister. So I don't know why, but that I felt like compelled to have that be the first thing I said to Matt.
Very, very stern.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Nothing happening. Okay. Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, have a good, safe financial quarter.
I'm Matt.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your question. Hey, what's up, Luigi?
Hey, what's up, y'all? Hey, my name is Reed, and it's a pleasure to meet you guys.
Hi,
I'm a
nice to meet
gigantic
you.
fan. Spent 3 years of my childhood using the little fold-out lightsabers, hitting my neighbors in the fingers.
All right, good.
But so I have a question for Matt, only because I feel like you have a completely different story as Ahsoka. You had the privilege of fleshing out a character over years by yourself without having anybody to fill that shoe. How was it trying to fill the shoe of Hayden Christensen as Anakin while you were trying to record and be your own Anakin? Like, how did that, like, what was your biggest hurdle trying to make that character you and Hayden at the same time?
Yeah, I kind of touched on it earlier, but I do feel like I felt a creative freedom from Dave and from George just to be my own version of Anakin. And I just like to think of it as it's a different season of Anakin's life. And I think I mentioned it earlier, he's just in chaos mode in the films, and here we get to live with him for a little bit. And so, you know, I just wanted to bring that heroic side. I had a conversation with George before I started recording, and you know, he had mentioned that he wanted to see a more charismatic and kind of funny at times and kind of a witty side of Anakin. And so I just focused on that and you know, kind of trusted in Dave that you know, it would be something that fits in. And one thing I will say is we were really intentional, and I really enjoyed those moments of like darkness that we saw in Anakin in the Clone Wars, because we had moments, like especially after the Mortis arc, where the realization of Vader and like the Vader, you know, cloud behind him, and you hear the, you know, the breath of Vader. After that, like we definitely started getting, occasionally we'd see these moments. Dave called them flashes of the dark side, and I always loved those because it, for me, really anchored my Anakin with Vader. And then by the end, like in season 7, he's like wailing on Rush Clovis and just, you know, it's like, that's not very Jedi-like. You know when you see these moments, they're like, there's a couple of screws loose. And so I always enjoyed those moments, because for me it felt like it anchored my version of Anakin into the rest of the saga. But,
Yeah, it always seemed like a crazy thing because everyone's like, oh yeah, Clone Wars is for kids. No, dude, get lightsabers through the back, dude. People die. It's a crazy show.
That's another moment. Yeah, he put a lightsaber through somebody's back, and he was so nonchalant about it. It was just like,
Save the world.
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's like, he's gonna kill 100 people. Why? He was gonna blow up the ship.
Yeah, what? He's going to blow the ship. So, yeah, when you see him do those things, you're like, oh, all right.
Unhinged.
Yeah.
Good question. Thank you.
so much.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Quick, actually, before we get to the next question, one thing I liked about Ahsoka you brought out is I don't think Tano gets enough credit for her smack talk.
She's very snippy.
No. I mean, this is beyond snippy. This is like on the basketball court, on the football field, trash talk, especially. Yeah, I mean, and I
she
appreciate
does.
that. Yeah.
She's like, beat you, or race you to the top.
Yeah.
Or something she
Or
said
what-
to Anakin, like, ship crashed, something.
Yeah.
I saved your life. You're welcome.
Yeah. And her fight card doesn't get enough credit too. Think about
I
it.
agree.
Her fight card does not get enough credit.
No, not at
From,
all.
what was it, Maul, Ventress?
I think the fight with Maul is one of the best fights
Yeah.
in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Ranks up there, top
Yeah.
5 for sure.
Yeah, and you even blended in mentioning Anakin in trash talk in the Maul fight by saying, "Hey, you're lucky Anakin's not here."
Oh,
yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Ahsoka does trash talk a lot.
No, she's a trash talker.
Or she learned it from the best.
So if you're a captain and I'm a Jedi, then technically I outrank you, right?
Yeah. How would Anakin respond to that?
Yeah, that a girl.
Next question.
Hi, I'm Sophia. It's so awesome to see you. I grew up with the show, and to see you guys here is just so cool.
Thank you, and your cosplay is amazing.
Thank you. So I was wondering if any of your personal mannerisms or whatever managed to seep into your own portrayals of the characters.
Definitely. I mean, Ahsoka, especially Ahsoka in Clone Wars, is me. Like, Dave truly didn't know what he wanted for Ahsoka, so
She actually is a trash talker.
yeah.
Here we go. Look at that.
He told me, he goes, we don't want her to be bratty.
No,
So he
Ashley's
goes,
No, Ashley's a trash talker.
That's fine. I'm not as much of a
I'm
trash
kidding.
talker in real life, but
You are snippy.
Well, he said you have to be snippy but not bratty. It's the inner dialogue in my head, what I don't say out loud, but it's like what I wish I could say out loud.
Is that where the snips thing came from? Where Filoni saying snippy?
Yes.
Is that where
Yes.
it came from? Okay.
That's
But
where.
Anakin says, "Don't get snippy with me, little one."
Right.
Yeah.
But the Genesis, it was that.
Dave?
Yeah.
I don't know actually.
Oh, no, they already knew. That was already written.
Okay.
So he knew he wanted her to be snippy,
Okay.
but yeah, the only thing that didn't make it in that I wanted was my laugh. I wanted Ahsoka to laugh more. David did make me laugh.
Our sound engineer, Cameron, Ashley has this laugh, and she goes, "Yeah." We didn't know, but Cameron recorded it like season 1, and so for like 6 years, every now and then he'd bring out the Ashley laugh, and it was like the what is it when someone tells a joke and they do the it's called something, right?
Yeah.
Rim shot.
Yeah, the rim shot. It was like basically that was our version when something happened. Ashley over the speakers and sound.
Thank you for the question. Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have time for about 2 more questions. But if you did not get a question in, again, their table, their booths are available downstairs. You all know where to go, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, Matt Lanter, and hi, Ashley.
Hi.
I grew up watching Clone Wars. I remember watching it in movie theaters with my family, and I got 2 questions. I got the first one for Matt. One of the movies that you were in was Disaster Movie, and one of my favorite scenes is when you were in a car, you parodied Speed Racer, one of my all-time favorite 2000s movie. What is it like to be on the Speed Racer car and drive with the parody of yourself Enchanted?
I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember that. Disaster Movie was a horrible film, but I had such a good time doing it. I love those movies. I grew up watching parody movies, so as funny as it sounds, to be in the parody movies was like a dream come true for me.
Yeah, and my last question for Ashley. I grew up watching Sophia the First, and you voiced the bluebird from Sophia the First. I remember watching it. I know it's coming back. I heard a rumor. But what is it like working for Disney?
Oh my goodness. Well, working for Disney is really a dream come true. As I shared, I'm a Disney kid, and that was always my dream, is truly just to work for Disney. So I'm a big princess fan too, so to be the voice of one of the animals, which we see in all the princess films. So Mia, as the bluebird, sounds very different than Ahsoka. She's like, Sophia, don't forget your tiara.
I remember her.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, final question.
Good seeing you guys. I grew up with Clone Wars, the toys, the Legos, especially the Legos, and the show itself. My friend is he's hyper fixated on Star Wars, and he had a question for you guys. What were your opinions on your characters themselves when you started, and what are your opinions on them now versus when you started?
That's a great question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, for me, it really was love at first sight. I just loved Ahsoka. I loved how snippy she was. I loved how eager she was. In many ways, she was a version of me when I was 14. And still even I was 25 when I started recording her. But whereas in the beginning, I was asked to bring my own heart and soul to Ahsoka, around season 5, something flipped, and Ahsoka changed my life. I became Ahsoka, and I started asking myself every day, what would Ahsoka do? How can I be a real-life version of Ahsoka Tano? And I still do that today. She really is inside of me and guides me.
I think that I didn't really know Star Wars as a fan as well as I do now. So I knew it was an iconic character, but through the journey of being with him, I have so much empathy for Anakin. Like, he did terrible things, but I really do. Like, looking back, it's so sad. He was so manipulated his whole life, and so many things went wrong, and he had so much passion and so much potential for love and protection, and it just went so wrong. And a lot of that's not his fault. He's manipulated. So I have so much empathy for the guy, and I really love that character. And hopefully Anakin lives long after me and after Hayden, and I hope we still see Anakin years in the future. But
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. Again, if you did not get a question in, don't worry about it. Their tables, their booths are downstairs. I think I'm going to go back, right? So
Definitely. We have photo op right after this. So after
there's
photo
still
op,
time.
we'll
Yeah,
be
so
back.
go down there, get in the line, and get your moment with Ashley and Matt. Any final words for the fans here?
Just thank you. I mean, truly, we are
thank
so
you.
grateful.
I was going to say, may the force be with you.
Oh, yeah, I think that might be good. Yeah. Why don't you lead us out with
Those
that?
are great parting words.
Yeah.
I think you should say it.
Yeah, say it.
Oh.
Say it.
We'll say it together.
Okay.
Okay, say it again.
1, 2, 3.
May the force be with you.
There we go. Ashley Eckstein, Matt Lanter, Kevin San Antonio, thank you.